Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I have Kim Michelson with me from Honest Game to present the NJCAA Audit Guarantee powered by Honest Game. I'm going to turn it over to her to share with some information on this process and how to sign up for this. The NJCAA has been working with Honest Game to present this platform to you to help our member schools get that audit guarantee and relieve some stress off our member schools. So Kim, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Wanda. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your time or an hour of your time with us this afternoon. My name is Kim Michelson, co-founder of Honest Game. As Wanda just noted, this initiative is from the NJCAA. They basically just hired Honest Game to power this solution. The reason they did that is because Honest Game has deep roots in academic eligibility. We work with hundreds of K-12 schools around the country. We also are partners, we're education partners with the NCAA and also partnered with the NAIA. So this was just a natural fit. What you're going to see today is based on your bylaws at the NJCAA, and it's a system to help you capture it and keep track of it. I will go through several slides. As I'm talking, please feel free to put your questions or any comments inside of the chat feature, and we will get to them as soon as we're done. The feedback that we have received from, 50, 60 member colleges is that if you're audited today, would you be ready? And the feedback was really a wide variety, that documents are scattered across emails, drive folders, filing cabinets, that schools really operate in very different ways. And they've created systems to meet their needs. It works to a degree, but they'd like it to improve because there are gaps in documentation. Also, it's often one person holding that knowledge without a backup system. And eligibility decisions are made without full visibility. And so if an audit occurs, there's some scrambling sometimes that is associated with that. And we wanted to work to alleviate that. You all know on the left what is at stake. It uncovers audits. What they do is uncover gaps that you didn't know existed, unintentional gaps. But again, you don't want your student athletes to be ineligible. You don't want to forfeit a game. You don't want students losing seasons, scholarships, and just your, overall your college losing trust and program credibility and reputation. So with the partnership of the NJCAA, we built a system, which you're going to see today, at least a highlight of that system, where you can operate without guesswork and operate with complete certainty. Your program will be protected, your reputation will be protected, because you'll have full visibility across all your teams, all your rosters, and eligibility status. And it's a program that's geared to withstand audits, turnover, and change. So let's jump into it. What it is, as you can see, is the NJCAA Audit Guarantee is the center. And as you're on a bike, these are like spokes around the wheel, which really are the goals that are trying to be achieved. Number one, we want you to be audit ready and protected at all times so that the NJCAA will stand behind it. There'll be no surprises and no exposure. We wanted it to be built for your workflow. So if it's just you holding this, maybe you want your registrar to have some access to the system too. Maybe you want your coaches to have access, and also alerts to your student athletes so they'll know what is due to put in. So it's not all on you. We can really build capacity across member institutions. We also wanted to build a system that was even broader than the audit. We wanted to have it one place where every document, so there'll be areas where you can add documents that maybe weren't part of the audit process, but they're helpful to have in one system, one centralized hub. We wanted you to have real-time alerts and visibility so that you know what's missing before it's too late. We shouldn't have problems. We should all be organized earlier. And so an audit is just a natural thing that occurs and isn't a surprise. And again, we wanted it to be a system, not a single person, because compliance can't be dependent on one person because of lost knowledge, institutional lack of knowledge when people leave. So we want to take you from risk to control, to protection, to real peace of mind. So let's dig into what it's going to look like. Well, before we do that, I wanted to note that the process is quite simple. In July, the member dues will open for the NJCAA to renew your membership. When that happens, there'll be a flag that pops up that says, would you also like to opt in to the NJCAA Audit Guarantee? If you choose to do so, you will mark that box. Once you mark that box, you'll be onboarded. The NJCAA will notify our team that your college has opted in, and we begin onboarding. Basically, you will submit all of the student athlete information into our secure portal, and we will review it. Once we review it and you're ready to go for that team, you'll upload an audit guarantee for that team, and every cleared student athlete deemed eligible by us will be submitted on the NJCAA eligibility roster via the admin portal before the first contest. So what we're trying to say here is we wanted to have one system. You don't have to add us, Honest Game, as in procurement. We're not going to be a new vendor. Everything is handled through the NJCAA. You sign up for them and you pay through them. And each institution is paying different prices based on the number of teams, which we'll go through and discuss shortly. We have many people on this call, over 100 individuals on this call. Whether you manage 3 teams or 30, your responsibility doesn't change. One mistake still costs everything. And frankly, when you have fewer people, you kind of have greater exposure. And if you leave, the system leaves with you. So we're built for where you are and where you're going. And it scales from 1 team to over 30 teams. Here's the dashboard. We're going to walk through it. It has at-a-glance team status and eligibility progress with easy navigation on the left. Here's the navigation. You go from dashboard to teams, to staff, to athletes, to evaluations, and to verify your report. We'll have toggle easy access to the NJCAA admin portal, so you can toggle from system to system. And what you're going to see here is your number of teams, your active athletes, pending reviews, and compliance rate. And it will constantly update. Pending review means that you have completed all the documentation inside of our system for a specific student athlete and uploaded them for our review. It's called the queuing system. So you will update it into the queue so we can review it. Let's go to teams now so we can show you a bit more what that looks like. You'll have an at-a-glance view of all of your team eligibility status and progress. It'll be clear, visual, and color-coded. We use a very simple system of red and green. So if you look at women's basketball and you see that you have 1 eligible and 2 eligible, you'll know that these need attention. And we'll have alerts as well regarding what is missing from those areas. Now let's go to staff. Staff. You'll have the ability to create super admin access for certain staff that are going to be in here all the time, and also just general admin access, for example, for your student athletes, if you want them to receive alerts of things that they need to upload. So they won't have full permissions, but they'll have some permissions to help you. You can also allow coaches to have access, registrars to have access, even your international office, if you have that as well, to upload international transcripts here. When we look at athletes, you're going to have a centralized view of all athletes, and they will be organized by season, participation, and eligibility status. So all of your athletes on a specific team, 12 of them, you'll know what season they're playing in. Are they participating or non-participating? How many are active, eligible, and how many reviews are pending? It's pretty simple. On the bottom, you will see the names of those students, what team they play on, what is their student ID, their email, whether they're playing first season, second season, whatever they're doing, if they're participating or non-participating, and their status. So immediately you can see that Jeffrey Rogers, Joanna Mack, and Ricardo Glenn are on track, but Joshua Connor's not. And you're able to go in and view those documents and see exactly what is missing. We want you to be audit ready at all times, which means enter your student athletes as they come early and often. Again, I'll say that again. Enter each student athlete early and often. We don't want to wait for an entire team to do an upload. So as you upload them, you put them into this evaluation queue. So you're basically uploading them and saying to Honest Game, hey, I have everything that I need for Jeffrey Rogers. Would you please review that I have done this correctly? And then Honest Game, as you do the upload, Honest Game does all of the analysis and interpretation for eligibility. So you can see that Jeffrey Rogers is pending review, Joshua Connor is pending a review, and Joanna Mack is not submitted because maybe you're looking for adding some additional features or different requirements that she doesn't have satisfied yet. So you have not submitted it yet for our review. So that's what we want you to do. As your student athletes are ready, upload them into the evaluation queue for our review. Once you are completed with the team and every single student athlete on your team has been verified by Honest Game, you want to create an audit guarantee report. And that basically says if you were audited for this team today, you are good to go. In the case that you're audited, you will send this to the national office, which just says, hey, Springfield Community College, the basketball team, here's our audit guarantee report. And the NJCAA will say you are good to go. The only thing they are going to do is check that the roster matches, the roster in Honest Game matches the roster in the admin portal. That is it. If it does, you're good to go, and there's nothing else needed for you. All they're going to need is this document with this verification code. So what you're looking at is also, it is the audit guarantee, but you're going to see here that it's even a little bigger than that. It's sort of broadening into a centralized hub or clearinghouse. What you're going to have is documents that are either marked required or optional. It's going to be dynamic. So for example, every student will fill out an intake form, or what we call a student registration form, which most of you are familiar with because you do something similar in the admin portal. As you're adding that in, if that particular student has been to 2 colleges before your college, well, obviously it's going to be dynamic and determine which fields are required versus which fields are optional. So if this student has gone to 2 colleges prior to your college, we're going to need those official transcripts. So those will be required. So just know it's dynamic for every student's individual needs. Again, there are certain areas in here that athletic directors have requested we add. Amateurism and physical exams. They are not part of your audit process. But many schools have said we'd like to keep, we pay someone to help with physical exams, or we want to have everything in one centralized hub. So you'll have the ability with obviously the proper HIPAA compliant protection to keep your physical exams and even your amateurism questionnaires. And we want to hear from you. If there's other things that you'd like to keep in here, we want to know what those are so we can continue to improve this. Again, it's a dynamic form. So if your kid has transferred, the transfer waiver will be required. If there's a hardship request, you will want to complete that, break of enrollment or learning disability. Again, what you're seeing is not created by Honest Game. These are based on the bylaws of the NJCAA that you're all quite familiar with already. And there'll be areas like here where it says other documentation. You may have specific things that you do at your college that you really want. For example, maybe you want to keep track of all your emails that the NJCAA, that you send to the NJCAA. Keep track of them here. Maybe your state requirements, maybe there's some bylaws that differ from the NJCAA. Keep track of them here. We want you to have a catch-all and an area that you can upload things that are important to you. Email alerts. We will make sure that you're getting frequent email alerts to whoever set up on the platform. Again, that can be the student, that can be the athletic director, that can be the coach, that can be the registrar, that can be the international office. Hey, there are certain things that are missing, and those alerts will become more frequent as the competition date approaches. Just so we know there's 2 kids and we're still waiting for information on these students. So we want to know that we're there to support you. We have a phone number, we have an email address, but also you're going to get frequent alerts as well. Please note that athlete data will carry over from sport to sport, year to year, so you don't have to re-enter it, which creates duplicate work. So if you have a fall sport and a spring sport that student's playing, that information and data will roll over. We have very, very transparent pricing, and we've heard that that's quite low, which means if you have up to 9 teams and no football, it's $3,000. If you have up to 18 teams and no football, it's $5,000. If you have 18 and over teams, it's $7,000. And football is a big juggernaut. We all know that. So that's an additional $1,000 based on these features right here. The most important thing now to do is if you'd like to use this, is to budget for it. That's super important because I know budgets are occurring right now. The other most important thing is I can share our legal documentation with you from our master services agreement and also our data privacy. It's a good idea to have your legal team review those ahead of time just so that there's no delay once you choose to do it. And then in July 1, when the NJCAA launches their member dues again, you'll have the ability to opt in for this. If you'd like to book a separate meeting one-on-one, there's other people that couldn't come to your meeting. As you can see, there's a QR code right here. I'm going to leave that up. And if you have any questions or you'd like to set up a meeting, please do so. I'm happy to meet one-on-one. Wanda Bodie's happen to meet one-on-one. If you have email questions as well, like, hey, what's the price? I'm budgeting for this now. Here's my number of teams, but you don't want to meet, that works too. If you need the legal documents ahead of time, whatever it is, we're here to support you. Again, this whole program exists to support all of you. And we think over time, it's going to continue to get better and better. And that's a little bit about it. So why don't we open it up to questions? I'm going to leave this QR code up for a moment.
So Kim, one question we have in the chat, is there any thought to transcripts can be captured directly from high schools and other colleges?
I think if I'm understanding that question, is that the question would be, do we have an integration with those systems? Is that the question? Yes. So great question. We absolutely do that with high school districts. We connect with many student information systems. This is year one. So what we're doing is capturing the most common student information systems. Many use Banner, some use Workday. We need to capture that, and so that whenever we make these changes and integrations, that we're integrating with the largest number of colleges. So that will happen in year 2 and year 3, but not year 1.
Another question, can athletes be added without any uploaded documents?
They can be added. Be added, but then in order for them to be audit ready, they need to have those additional documents. But that's a common thing. You'll want to upload those students, and then as you're capturing that data that you need that are part of the audit guarantee bylaws, you'll upload those.
Is this program TX ramp certified?
I'm not sure if I know what I don't know what that is. So if that individual is on there, unless you know what it is, Wanda.
I do not either. Albert, if you can give us a little more information on that, that would be great.
And Albert, you can also, I'm going to put my chat into my email. If you want to email me separately, that works as well, because I don't know what that is.
Next question, you mentioned not to add a bulk of athletes at one time. It's better to enter them individually as they're ready, but often it does happen in bulk because we get high school transcripts all at the same time. Is it okay to add in bulk? Just not recommended.
Yes. So for year 1, what we want to do is there's many people that have asked the question about, hey, I get this from my student information system. I want to upload them in bulk. But again, we're going to have to upload them then. So it would be better if we, just like you're creating your audit ready files, if you can do them one at a time. I think it's something, again, probably likely in year 2, we'll have a bulk upload. But again, sort of walk before you run approach. This is the first year, so we're trying to learn what works the best. And we want to hear from you. If certain things don't work, please let us know. But the way you're collecting all of your audit ready files now, it's going to be just collected into this system and obviously have the backing of the NJCAA as well. This webinar is getting recorded, to my understanding. So the NJCAA will share this out.
If we have 10 teams and we want to do one on our own just to avoid having to pay the next level, 5K, is that possible?
No, we can't. Year 1, we aren't able to do that. We need consistency across all NJCAA schools, especially for year 1. There are schools that have said, hey, we just want to do football. Just a couple of schools. Most schools have been fine with that. So no, it's sort of all or none in year 1. And as we look to year 2 and 3, again, we'll look to open this up and have that, but it would create too much inconsistency around member institutions. And we need to keep that consistent. We need to keep, it's actually quite generous. 1 to 9 teams, most of those schools are actually at that $3,000 level, and there's only a few that are above that. And the 5,000 is still, the way I look at it, and I don't know how you all look at it, but we're sort of like an extra person or an extension of your team, and it's hard to find that for that price.
How familiar is Honest Game with all the rules of eligibility? And what if Honest Game says an athlete is eligible, but in actuality, they are not?
Well, our whole team is built on academics and compliance. So we have automation and tools inside of our software, including AI, and we have 3 people checking it. So it's unlikely that would occur. One thing that I think is a great question, Shelley, is we only know what you upload. So if you upload a transcript for a kid and then we say they're eligible and we didn't know that they dropped below 12 credit hours and now they're not eligible, we won't know that. So you'll have to upload that. We only know what we have, and we will be asking questions as well. But this is what we do. Kind of back, Shelley, to the point that I made early on. This wasn't built in a vacuum. This was built directly with the NJCAA and Wanda and her team.
And the next question, I know this is an NJCAA initiative, but could this also be used with the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association? That would have to be
Maybe.
a completely separate. Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Jason, why don't you email me at kim@honestgame.com and I can learn about it. I would love to learn about that. I know that there's a lot of things that people do want to track. There's a lot of interest in a lot of things that they want to track, including esports, which will probably be in year 2 as well. But again, if we don't know from you, if we find out that, God, there's 30 schools or 40 schools that want to also track esports, or there's another 40 schools that actually want us to integrate with Banner or Workday, those are things that we're going to keep. You're going to see this continue to get better over time.
How long do you all keep the files in the hub? 5+ years to reference the tracers, etc.
Yeah, so we've been guided by the NJCAA to keep it 3 years. And then if you need it over that, like 2 years, you'll have the ability to download that data.
What is the estimated turnaround time from students being submitted to verifying they are eligible through Honest Game, assuming all required documents are submitted with initial submission?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good question, and we're hoping that it takes between 2 and 3 days. Again, we have a lot of data to look through. We ask of you is upload them as they come. Do not upload. We know there's going to be some kids that are last minute, and that's totally normal that you're going to have kids that were added last, but those should be the exception and not the rule. There's an expression out there, guys, like, lack of planning on someone's part shouldn't constitute an emergency on our part. Remember, we're working with hundreds of NJCAA schools. And so we ask that you also get things in early and often. We know that many schools will, and we also know there's going to be exceptions. And for those exceptions, if it's an emergency for you, it's an emergency for us. So we'll be on that within in hours.
The next one I'll answer, but I'll have you jump in too. What happens when a student drops a course and falls below 12? Is this still on the department to catch this, or is Honest Game going to have an integration to catch it? So at this time, it's still on the school that you still need to be doing those daily or weekly checks to make sure they maintain their full-time enrollment. And it does need to be notified. You do need to notify our office and Honest Game if anything does change and send those updated student schedules. And I'll let you jump in there, Kim, as well.
Yeah, I agree. We don't know what we don't know, and this kind of goes back. To year 1. If we find that there's an integration needed, then we'll do that in year 2 or year 3. But this is sort of, again, early adopters and the ability to sort of let's get this off the ground and let's really learn and support you all and continue to get better over time.
Similar with this question, if a student athlete is registered with the NJCAA, can that information be integrated with Honest Game Clearinghouse? So same thing there, something we'll look to integrate maybe in the future, but currently they are 2 separate systems. You can toggle back and forth, but they're still 2 separate systems. So currently they're not integrated at this time.
They have a toggle so you won't have to log in twice, which will be
Right.
great. So you could easily, from an interoperability, get back and forth real easily. So that's, I think, a good go-between instead of integration, and let's continue to learn what's needed and where the best way of investing our time and capital in.
Our college reviews everything for Title II compliance. Does Honest Game meet the Title II compliance regulations?
Well, I will let Wanda answer that one. I mean, we meet the bylaws for the NJCAA Audit Guarantee.
I am not sure on that one either. So we'll need a little more information on that one, Ed, if you want to email Kim or if you want to email Kim and we can look into that a little more for you. Since eligibility is entered separately for cross country and half marathon, would that equal 2 teams in the pricing chart?
Are they 2 teams? I guess that's the question.
Yes.
If they're 2 teams, that would be 2 teams. But again, you can have up to 9 teams for that low price. So yes. And I would add too, if any of you have not spoken, and I don't know if there's any presidents on today, but we've met with many presidents who are very supportive of this. So many of them that actually want to pay for it because they feel like it from an athletic director, it'll save them time. So I would encourage you to sort of also, if you're interested and you feel like this would be a time saver to share that up. We're happy to jump on a call with presidents as well. We have presented to the Presidential Commission as well.
And some of these we may have to do over email and things like that. You know, it asks about like, what about repeat courses? How will it read that? So I don't know how much you want to get into on here as far as the system works, but we can go on through. Please feel free to email Kim, you know, with some of those types of questions. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple others here, like, can you share examples how your system has helped other schools avoid findings or penalties? This is the first year we've launching this with the NJCAA, but I can tell you, I can give you hundreds of stories nationwide with high schools, and we work with four-year colleges too. We are not new to eligibility. This is what we do. We eat, sleep, and breathe this. The only difference with the NJCAA are the bylaws. I would remind everybody too that the window to register for this is July 1 when the NJCAA member dues open. When they close in September, they'll be closed. And so there won't, it basically, if you want to try it this year, you have to opt into it July through September, or you'll have to wait for the following year. It's just a one-time opt-in opportunity.
and the next couple questions is about the information forwarding to the next sport or the next year, like that information carries over for the student athlete. Which
It
yes,
does.
we shared. Yes, go ahead.
It does. You don't have to duplicate that. It will roll over to the next thing. So, and I think the other thing I wanted to add regarding have we helped you with eligibility is that there's a part of it you guys have to do your job, obviously, which you're doing every day to make sure you're uploading the information. We review it. It's a team effort. And if we can get that early and you have the audit guarantee, you won't be fined and you won't have penalties. So that's sort of our promise to you, is we work together on that stuff. And the NJCAA backs that with that audit guarantee report.
This is a question we've had often, Kim, if they have a student athlete that doesn't get their transcript in until the day before the first game, and it takes 2 or 3 days for Honest Game to review it, show up as ineligible on the roster submission.
Yeah. So the answer is it won't. And if you have an emergency like that, or a kid that, you don't get the transcript till late, we know that's going to happen. We ask for you all that this is the exception and not the rule. We don't want every kid like this, but we know this happens. We'll be working in lockstep with you. It won't take a couple of days to get it back to you. It'll take a couple of hours to get it back to you. But if it's a couple hours before participation, we can go ahead and it's not gonna show up as ineligible, and we'll work with you to get that. We understand that, but again, it should be the exception and not the rule. Oh, great question. How are we handling FERPA and HIPAA? Great question. We have a comprehensive master SaaS and services agreement, as well as a data privacy agreement. We will be sending that in our final, and feel free to email me and I can send that directly to you if you want that. But we will be sharing that with you. We'd ask you or advise you to maybe meet with your legal team and just make sure that they're familiar with this. If they'd like to use their own document for data privacy, that's fine. Just send it over to us and we can do it. The reason we're doing this ahead of time is because we don't want any delay with onboarding once you sign up in July. For HIPAA, again, that's not obviously the physicals are not part of the audit guarantee process, but we're adding it there in case you want to keep them there, and we will have HIPAA protection with that as well.
And then Brian Anweiler just shared with us Title II is the new ADA accessibility requirements, is what he thought that was. So he was just sharing a clarification on that.
Yeah.
But we'll do that through email.
I think we'll do that through email. And I don't think ADA is not part of the audit guarantee, is it?
Right.
Okay. So again, just remember that this is supposed to automate the entire sort of what you're supposed to do for audit. So that's what things are. But I want to learn more about that, obviously, Brian. So feel free to send an email over and we can learn about it.
That's all the questions I see in there for now. They have included Kim's email address, and you all have my email address as well. If you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. One more question. Do you see this becoming a requirement once the partnership continues to mature? I don't know that answer at this point. That'll be a discussion once we see how it goes. Year one, get through year one, and then we build from there.
Yes. Well, thank you, everybody, for your time and your attention. We will make sure that this recording is being sent out to everybody. Again, my email is kim@honestgame.com. You can email me. You can email Wanda. or you could set up time, obviously, to meet with us as well. We really appreciate everybody's time. And thank you again.